What is up, Chag? What's up, everyone? I'm so happy to be here. I miss my desk. As weird as that sounds, man. I mean, sometimes, especially for someone who spends a lot of time at a desk. um, well, yeah. So it is just now 9 p.m. Hi, Vans. So I'm gonna try to wait for as many people as I can. Did your firm stay away from Nvidia? The last few days, yes. The last few days, yes. The big trade was just Nvidia into the split. That week kind of before the split, after the earnings, stuff like that. That's when the action was there. Volume's not there. It's been chopping around. Could it be topped out? Maybe. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that for sure. You got stocks, buddy? Nice. It's good, Farouk. What's up, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter? But yeah, I mean, guys, like the news today was Apple. You're probably never going to see a move like this again. Um, even earnings moves aren't this big. I can't really tell you exactly why. A lot of people today couldn't really tell you why either. I mean, I think part of it was somewhat of a short squeeze, right? I think there were some people trying to short this down after it wasn't great news yesterday, right? I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking news. I actually kind of figured this would probably come back down to about 190, maybe the high 180s this morning. So, simply because that the news wasn't great. Again, nothing was groundbreaking. There was no crazy new additions to the new iPhone. The AI stuff was somewhat expected, right? Some of the bigger news was they partnered with Chat GPT or OpenAI, and the fallback on that was Elon Musk coming out saying he would ban every iPhone product in all of his companies, or sorry, any Apple product in all of his companies. And if you're a visitor, then you also have to check any Apple product at the door for privacy reasons. So that's pretty crazy, I think. But I thought that may affect Apple a little bit. However, look what we did today. Probably one of the biggest moves in the last year or two, maybe three. Unbelievable. Like I said, I mean, I think part of it was a short squeeze today. I think some people were aiming short just because of the things I've just talked about. So partially that, partially we're just this breakout has been waiting to happen for a long time. For y'all that don't know exactly what breakout I'm looking at here, it's we've hit in these upper 190s multiple times, right? And you could see at this 200 level right here has been, kind of tested just under that multiple times. You go on a weekly chart, right? Bounced here, came up here testing again. And I'm going to get into some other, the breakout kind of flag patterns on big time frames has just been working pretty unbelievably for continuation reasons, Something that was talked about at my internship was we had a meeting with a guy who's done this for a long time. He owned his own hedge fund for a while, ended up selling it. He works in the office there. Talk to him just about every day. He's done it for 40 years, and he said one of his mentors, someone he studied a lot, kind of coming into this was, man, I forgot his name. It's not David Ryan because that was his friend that sort of worked for this guy. But anyways, let's just call this guy, whatever. And he was one of the best traders of all time. And what made him so good was, a lot of people think buy low, sell high, right? That's kind of the golden rule of the stock market. And yeah, could that work? Sure. But stocks are down for a reason and stocks are up for a reason. This guy that he's talking about made a living buying stocks at all-time highs. And why is that? Well, stocks that are breaking highs and breaking out, they're doing something good, right? Their stocks are at the all-time high. Stocks that are way down in the dumps, well, they're there for a reason. And to me, that kind of makes sense. So Apple is a very good example of that. NVIDIA is a very good example of that. We get over, this used to be 500, right? Now it's 50. Break above here, we run. Comes back in, bases out, gives us another breakout pattern, and we run. What were some other ones he showed me? I think COPD, no. Some other ones that we're looking at for the same kind of pattern right now. FSLR is one. Obviously you kind of have a breakout here, but you go on a yearly chart, look at this nice little flag pattern here. This stuff is just working, right? You kind of just have your, is it a perfect bull flag? No, but I think guys can kind of see what I'm looking at here. This looks like it could probably start running. Another one is Birkenstocks, out of all things, right? Good news, earnings, kind of making a little pattern here, about to run. COHR, same thing. These are stocks that I never trade, guys, but this is just what's working right now. A lot of things are breaking out. Oracle did have earnings today. Yep, that is true. We're at 135 now, so we're up here. I think that's all-time high, Farouk. I think that is all-time high. Sure is. So that's pretty crazy. That'll probably be on Watch Me. This is kind of the same setup here, right? This is on a bigger time frame, but you just kind of have a nice breakout here. 127, all-time high 132. So like 130 is kind of that level that you want to be paying attention to. We hold that. I think this could easily go 150, I already took about FSLR. Yeah, Vans. I didn't either, actually. But yeah, Birkenstock doing really well. Pinterest, same thing on a smaller time frame, right? Run up on earnings, flag pattern, breakout. So this stuff's just working, guys. It's you got to find the patterns and adapt to what's making money right now. And this is just what's making money. And this is my kind of market. These are my kind of setups. I'm a breakout trader. This is what I love. One cool example from the guy that we met with was on Schwab. And this was back in the 90s. Let me go back to the max available. Let's really back this thing up. 2004. So here it is. Here's the run. So let's start from here. So Schwab makes its run up, right? We kind of have a high here around this $10, and this is split a couple times. So, these prices used to be different. But let's just look at this line here at $10, this resistance level here. We kind of hit it once. We kind of try to come up and test it again at 960, failed. Came up 927, 925, failed. Back up, tested 10, failed. Back up, tested 960, failed. Came back up to 10, kind of got back above, pulled back, retested, and then boom. A little bit of good news. And what happened back in here in 98? I wasn't around then, but electronic trading came out. Everyone could open up a brokerage account. And look what this thing did. $10. So, back to buying stuff at all-time highs, which makes, it kind of sounds counterintuitive. It makes sense. Stocks are at highs for a reason. Stocks are at lows for a reason. But here it goes, right? $10, $15, $20, $25, all the way up to 50. So it 5x'd what it was at in 98 into about halfway into 99, really 4 months into 1999. How crazy is that, right? So about September of 98 up into April of 99 is 5x'd. So I don't know, just kind of a cool example from way back when. So these principles that I teach, the things that I talk about, these breakout setups, the break and retest, buyers holding specific areas, using support and resistance lines, letting things set up on big time frames, bigger time frames make bigger moves. So electronic trading was the thing then. What's the thing right now? It's AI, right? It's AI. NVIDIA, the number one leader in AI. So what, some of you guys were, I wouldn't say mad, but you didn't like that I was trading NVIDIA a lot. Well, this is just what was in play. It's the same thing. Test, this used to be 500, 500, 500, 500, 500. Get above, good news, boom. 550, 50 turns into 70, into 80, into 90. Here we up in 100. Now we're at 120, right? So this almost 3 times in a matter of 6 months. You got to go where the money is, RB. That's 100% right. So, yeah, pretty interesting. Snowy on X. When do you think it's time to sell Apple? I think this is very early on in the breakout. I think over time, if you're in options, obviously you're going to have expiration date problems. I think this could see 220, 225, even 250 at one time. I mean, again, I don't think this news is groundbreaking. I think that the move today, you're probably never going to see again. Even, like I said, even earnings moves don't give this kind of, a company that's as big as Apple, right? We all know Apple. It's a almost $3 trillion company. It might be 3 trillion after today or very close. Moving a company that big 7.5% today, it's pretty unheard of. Without earnings, really without any news, right? The news was yesterday. This was kind of a short squeeze, breakout setup on a big time frame. To me, what I'm looking for is a pullback down, kind of down into the 200s, right? We have CPI and we have a Fed meeting tomorrow. So if that comes out good, maybe market rips. If that comes out bad, maybe that'll pull things down. And, we can kind of get this thing back down into 200. We can kind of base out a little bit for a few days, and then we start ripping back up. I think 210, 215, 220 is very doable in the next few weeks, all kind of depending on the overall market. I know I missed a question up here. Do you take requests for stocks to analyze? Yeah. Moonville. The only thing that I ask is for you to give me some sort of trade idea behind it. If you just say, what's your thoughts on XYZ? It's kind of hard for me to look at a stock that I don't know about. So if there's news behind it, if there's a trade behind it, please put that into your question, and that'll make it a lot easier and more beneficial for you and me and everyone listening. So when you buy an all-time high, how do you know what your target is when you get out, especially on daily charts? So this was the exact question that I asked the guy who was talking about this stuff, man. So I'm really glad that you asked that, because that means you're thinking the right way. So I'm thinking, how do you know when this thing is done? How do you know when this is tired? Do you target a P&L? Do you target a percentage? And his answer was, I don't use targets. And I thought that was interesting. What he'll do is he'll kind of be buying. So right now he's kind of looking for this to pull back in to start buying, right? So he talked about it as like a pyramid. And I know you can't see my face, but I'm making a pyramid symbol for anyone on other platforms. But so what you'll look at is, so he'll start with like half a position. Okay. So let's say he wants to be in with 10,000 shares and he'll buy 5,000. If it comes down lower a little bit, he may buy, another 1,000 or 1,500. If it goes higher, he'll probably buy another 1,000, 1,500. So let's just say he kind of builds out that position in a 10,000 shares. Let's say he gets a really nice move for a couple days or a few weeks. Maybe he sells 2,000 of that. He'll never sell more than half at a time. So he'll sell 2,000, stock comes down some more. He'll actually end up buying more. So he kind of just sells some, buys some on dips, sells some, buys some on dips, sells some, buys some on dips. So can he catch the top? No. Will he catch the majority of the move? Yes. Right. So you can never, predict the exact top of anything, but he'll kind of just work his way with the stock as it keeps going. And then let's say that this has gone on a massive run. It starts to stall out. There's not new highs. It starts making a downtrend or whatever. Then he'll start selling the majority of his stake. If it starts rolling over more, then he's out. So I thought that was interesting, right? He doesn't have an exact target. It's more of working your way with the stock over a period of, a couple months, or, a couple weeks would be a kind of a shorter trade frame. Farouk, that's funny. I'm looking at Microsoft as coming 435, like on break. I'd love for you to talk about that. Yeah, so Microsoft, another thing we need to be looking at, right? This is another beautiful breakout setup. This is something I'm going to be watching tomorrow for sure. I think right now we're sitting at 433.50. All-time high is 433.60. So we're right here. So to me, this is a great breakout setup. Microsoft is very heavily tied with Apple. Same with Google. What was weak today, actually, before I get into Microsoft? Google wasn't that strong. We actually ended up closing strong, which I didn't notice. But this is another breakout setup we need to be watching, right? All these setups to me look really good for kind of multi-day trades. And for me, it's like maybe I swing them, probably not. I would probably look to just catch some day trades on them. But, okay, can you swing it? Sure, right? You can swing it. You can make some good money. For me, looking at these setups, do I want to be that early? No, because they could just pull back. Market could pull back tomorrow on bad news, whatever it is. So the way I would look at this is, okay, so Google and Microsoft are now set up for beautiful breakouts. Is it guaranteed? No. But to me, they're like major watch lists for me. These are at the top of my watch. They're in play, right? That's the term. These stocks are now in play for us. And they have the potential to go on a really nice run, maybe 10, 15% on the stock, which would offer some really nice day trades there for us. So that's how I would look at it. Back to Microsoft, though, for whoever mentioned that, RB, really, really nice. To me, I'm looking for this to break all-time high and probably make a move up into 440. 435 would be a pretty good first target, 440. But over time, I think 450, 460 is very doable. Market's back at all-time highs. AI is still on the cutting edge of things. AI is still all over the news. Market's strong. No reason not to be aggressive, right? This is my bread and butter, right? These are the breakouts that I love to trade. Things that take months, 3, 4, 5 months to set up. Those are times where you got to press it, right? You can't be trading these setups like a B minus intraday flag pattern or something, right? These are big time frame, juicy setups that could offer massive, massive gains. Does that mean that you need to be going in with your entire account? No, of course not, right? Because that's typically when it doesn't work, right? It's the one time that you go in, all in and it doesn't work. But does that mean that there's not some really good day trades here that you need to be full size on? No, I think that's definitely what you should be doing. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, I've been raking in on some of these setups recently. So this is where, at least for me and my style, you need to be on point. You need to be up early, focused, have your trade plan, have your entry, have your exit, have your targets, have your position size, know your contracts, know the news coming out, know what the market's doing. All of that, right? You need to be on your A game for this stuff. I YOLO'd into LTRN, and that's never what I like to hear at the beginning of a trade idea. I YOLO'd. It was done well for me in the past, but it kept tanking. So typically things that happen good for you in the past, you want to stick with it because you like something. Another thing that this guy talked to us about is I don't like anything. You never want to have an emotional attachment to a stock. I don't like any stocks. I think stocks look good and look bad, but I don't like anything. I have no attachment to them because. So then this is another good point to talk about. He went into how, and my boss has said it many times, I don't care where you go to college. There could be the best trader in the world that goes to a small community college, and then the worst trader ever go to Harvard Business School. But why do people that go to Yale or Harvard or whatever it is, why are actually most of them not very good at trading? Well, what have they been told their entire life? You're so smart. You're right about everything. You're so good. Blah, blah, blah. Their ego's attached to it. So when they start trading stocks, they can never be wrong. They can never accept failure. They can never accept when they're wrong. And that's when they take massive losses and they get burnt out and they blow up and they're done. They're never successful. Are there good traders from Harvard? Of course, right? Of course, there's some good ones. But that is something that you should all consider. It doesn't matter who you are. Market doesn't care about you. My boss says the most important thing that I know is that I don't know anything at all. Okay. You don't know what's going to happen. And maybe you know some things, right? There's an argument there. Maybe you know some things. Maybe you have some sort of experience or a lot of criteria that's hit that you know about, but you don't know where a stock's going to go. I don't know if a stock's going to go up, down, sideways. You guys know the line from Wolf of Wall Street, but that's another thing for your mental to keep in mind, right? We don't know anything. Our job is to react to what's in front of us. Back to this trade. My trade idea was that it was low, so I'd buy in. Then it kept falling, and I figured it'd become the rest of the biotech was down. I'm second guessing a bit, but didn't make a slight reversal today. My average was 597, current price 559. So for me, Moonville, this is just not something I would trade, right? I'm not going to buy a stock that used to be at $11 a share and it's now at $5. Could it go back to that? Sure. Why was it up there is the first thing I would look at. Why was the stock way up at $12? Why is it different right now? Why should it go up? Should it go up just because it's down? Absolutely not. Could it go to 1 cent a share? Sure. We just don't know. So, you're only down about 40 cents a share, which is about 10% on the stock, which really isn't that big of a deal. To me, it's like now that you've gotten this little bounce in your favor, I would definitely nurse this. I wouldn't let this roll back over. I would tell you, okay, if this breaks under like 5, I don't know, what is this? Like 540, 535, I'd cut it. Just get out of it. Your money can work for you in other areas of the stock market rather than just bag holding something that you just don't know anything about. I've never lost money in this stock before. Well, to me, I don't even need to I don't need to read the rest of that simply because that's exactly when you're going to lose money. You know what I mean? That's just the psychology behind this. And again, I'm not trying to be critical or mean or anything. This is just the realities of trading. Thinking I've never lost on this stock. That's a lot of times when traders go on big runs, right? They make a ton of money, and then that one trade that they just cannot accept that they're wrong because they've been right so many times before, that kills them and takes a quarter of their profits, half their profits, all their profits, more than all of their profits, right? So that's the mindset that you don't want to be in, if that makes sense. So accept a small loss on this, especially since you've made money over and over and over again on this, it sounds like, and move on. There's plenty of other stocks that are in play. To me, this doesn't have a lot of volume. It's not trading very well. Why stick in it? Oh, and PayPal went down? Yeah, they did. PayPal to me is trading in a range. I just don't really love it. Right now, it's like, guys, what's working right now is these flag breakouts. So y'all should write this down. FSLR. This one's moving. Maybe you're a little late to it. I think this could easily go up into 300. Burke, that's another good one. Penn's another good one. To me, my two favorite, which is what I'm familiar with, Microsoft looks really good. To me, Microsoft is like the number one watch for me. Google, same thing. Tesla is a different kind of trade. Tesla has some news coming out with a pay package to Elon Musk. It has to do with him getting more percent stake in Tesla and then also like some AI stuff around it. I don't really know a whole lot of details, but right now the stock is not acting well. The vote is on the 13th, so that's going to be on Thursday this week. So Tesla could easily fall back down in here. Could it go back up if this works well? Sure. But right now the stock's not acting very well. And from what I've learned being on the trading floor again is when a stock isn't acting the right way, even if you think the news is good, the stock is telling you all you need to know. You know what I mean? That's kind of back down to talking about buying stocks at all-time highs. Stocks are at all-time highs for a reason. People are buying them. It's doing something good. The stock is doing something good for this to be at all-time highs. When a stock's at all-time lows, well, it's vice versa. It's not doing something very well. So that's kind of where the buy low, sell high thing most of the time doesn't actually make sense. Of course, there are plenty of times where it could work, kind of like GameStop. You buy that when it's down, you wait for the news to come out, rips up, make a lot of money. Trading is just it's a crazy world. Yeah, I trade pharma because it's volatile. It was up because optimism was high on the new drugs. I was trading it, and it luckily protected the drop. Just kind of what happens. One thing that works for me is trailing my green position on a day trade. I didn't follow that rule this morning at FSLR. I missed out on some big green, ended up 30 to 100. Then I took bulls over the live stream, trailed stop and won big. Yeah, so that's something else that we talked about today is like, what's the hard thing to do? Typically, doing the hard thing is the right thing. Anyone could have bought Apple and sold it quickly. The hard thing to do is to buy more. That, typically a lot of guys will take 10 positions in the morning, and then some aren't working well and they cut them. And then, another one, small win, not trading as good as they want. They'll cut that off. By the end of the day, they have one or two positions on that are running, right? Like GameStop today, running, FSLR today, running. And they're adding to those positions. You're buying into those winners more, and it's just going, right? Those are the ones that are working. That's when you press your winners and you want to make more. I've been doing similar things. Trailing stops have helped. Yeah, trailing stops are great. Sometimes, adding into winners actually works the best. That's why I like to buy small on dips. You guys like, my trades. Come into support, buy some, and then add as it's going in my favor up to the high when it's doing exactly what I want. And that's where I can really have those big green days, in small losses, because I start the position small. If it fails quickly, when I know I'm wrong, I'm out with small size. As it goes in my favor, I add, and then I boom, 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 start scaling out as it's breaking out through my levels. Lots of new stocks again. Yeah. Okay. KWE and ASIP have been up and down all day. ASIP is probably going to have a good run tomorrow as well. Okay, so I would say, why do you think that? Seems like it's popping. Obviously, you can see down here, volume is jumping up a ton here. Ton of volume got traded today. What is it? 96,000 volume. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see this going pretty well. What was the other one here? KWE. Kind of the same thing, up on volume. These are just momentum plays. These aren't necessarily, especially KWE. I mean, it's right at $1 stock. So, I mean, my boss would tell you that guys that make the most money in this this trading game trade the big names. Yeah, there's guys that make money trading penny stocks. And there's plenty of guys that, there's probably more guys that lose money trading penny stocks. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I can't really go into that much more in depth, wet tractor, but definitely could see that those moving higher. Apple's a turtle, then today, boom. Yeah, TK, this is something that you're probably never going to see again. So take a mental screenshot of this. AI stocks are making good runs lately. Yeah, AI is just that's what's hot right now, just like I talked about in Schwab back in 98, 99, electronic trading came in. That was the cutting edge of technology. When iPhones came out, that was cutting edge. When electric vehicles came out, that was cutting edge, right? So those are, there's going to be something new that comes out. Right now, AI is the name, and that's where you want to be. Later, Moonville. Yeah, adding to the position as it's rising, all new. I think experimenting. I've always done the opposite, but now I see the benefits of adding. Yeah, 100%. And but that is what trading's all about. Trading goes against human nature for the most part, and that's why it's so hard. And that's why it's hard it's hard for people to train themselves to think the right way, because you're born with these human instincts to kind of think the opposite way, right? When things are bad, you hope and you have fear, and that's going to make you think the opposite way of what you really should. When you're up nice, sometimes you get greedy and you hold it and it comes against you. Or you're up nicely, or let's say that you buy a stock at 1 and you think that it could go to 10 and it gets to 3 and you sell it. Well, the stock is acting right, and over time it gets to 10 and you missed out on a 70% more gain, right? Um, so I don't know. Those it's just little principles and just psychological tools that are very tough to learn, and it's a trader's job every single day to battle those. It's very, very hard. I don't have much time late to trade. I've rushed a few. Had a down week last week on my day trading account, anyways. Got to go though. All right, RB, take care, my man. Thanks for being here. YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You guys can ask questions as well. I am here to answer anything you guys have. I work nights, and so I am asleep most of the trading day. Can you talk about finding good entries using take profits help by orders to not have to be awake 24/7? So Chris Tech. So it looks like you're a free member. Using take profit and stop loss orders are great. That can help you stay away from the desk so you don't have to stare at a screen for a long time and constantly focus on a name. However, in day trading, that's typically not what you want to be doing because things can happen in a blink of an eye. I would, and this is just not my profession in this chat room, I'm a day trader. I would talk to Mr. SLP. He also goes by Mad Maverick. He is another swing trading coach here, and he uses those orders. So he's taking longer term trades where it's a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month, where he has a stop loss and a clear take profit or a couple take profits, and he will stick to that. So I highly recommend reaching out to him or reaching out to OG Nikki or Pookie's Revenge. They will get you set up with a coach. So that is who I would recommend you going with if you work nights and you can't really be at your desk because you're getting your rest for the trading day, because those are going to be those a little bit longer term trades, right? You're not holding for a year or whatever, but you can hold for maybe a couple hours at the very least, to a couple days, weeks, or a month or two. What's up, Farouk? Give me something good. But how long it takes for stocks to get split to act normal again? I was watching the video, just get dumped every time it wanted to move up. Yeah, but so Farouk, think about it from this perspective. What does a split really mean? Right? So let's just say that I have a $10 bill in my pocket, and that $10 bill is now 10 ones. It's the same amount of money, but I just have a 10 $1 bills. So do I really want to hold 10 $1 bills, or would I rather have a $10 bill? So if I'm a bank and let's say that I had 10 million shares of NVIDIA, well, I now have 100 million shares of NVIDIA. That's just a lot of shares. It's the same amount of money. It's the same investment. Could I hold it? Sure. But most of them end up just selling some off because they don't want that many shares in NVIDIA. Some hold it. Yes, it's good for normal everyday people. It's cheaper, right? And not everyone is a bank. So they can now afford it. So is that good in the long run? Yes. For the short term, right after a split, typically, if I'm a big bank and I need to be able to sell a couple million shares of NVIDIA stock, well, it's it's tough for me to sell that much stock very quickly. So what do you want to happen? Well, you want there to be a lot of people wanting to buy, so then you can sell, right? So that's typically why splits end up selling off a little bit in the short term right after. It's because big banks are selling their shares. The retail guys like you and me and everyone with Robinhood on their phone is then buying. So it provides liquidity for big banks. Stock falls a little bit. And then in the end, I'm sure NVIDIA will see new highs at one point. Apple did the same thing, right? Apple used to be a $500 stock. I remember trading the 500 break. Now, they split it, and here we are again at 200. So the cycle just repeats. To me, I like bigger, juicier stocks like NVIDIA was. Kind of makes me sad that now it's cheaper and there's really not a big, juicy stock anymore. Meta's 500, Microsoft's 400 something. But Google used to be $2,000 a share as well, and that's split up. So trading world's just different. Will they split? I don't think that Meta or Microsoft will split anytime soon. Maybe if they get up to $600, $700, $800 a share, sure. But right now, I don't know that I see that happening very soon. Could you please look at BYND? Would love to hear your thoughts. There's been holding for some ever. Unfortunately, I have been holding it back since I started trading. Don't want to sell if it looks like it has reached the bottom and may turn around. Sure, I remember trading BYND. Beyond Meat was one of the first companies that came out with that like vegan plant-based meat, right? So that was all the craze when it came out. And then it turns out it doesn't really taste that good. A lot of people don't actually like it. And what is the stock telling us right now? It's done. Roku, same thing. I actually want to talk about Roku after this. Used to trade Roku quite a bit. Now, haven't touched it in probably 2 years. Could this be the bottom? Sure. The way I would look at it, Vans, is what could Beyond Meat really do to turn the company around? Is there something innovative? Is there something, cutting edge that they could do? I would say no. Because what could you really do to change a plant-based meat company? You know what I mean? Could you use specific kind of plants? If they came out with a hamburger with like double the amount of protein as a normal beef patty would, maybe that's what could turn it around. Farouk add meat. Yeah, that'd probably kill the company. But so the way that I look at it is, could you just continue to hold and maybe that there's something that could help this? Sure. I don't know where your average is. Do I really think that it's going to rip back up into the 50s or 100? No, I really don't, unfortunately. But it seems like from looking at their earnings, it's getting better. So like we're seeing like negative 87, negative 127, negative 158, negative 153, negative 1.6, negative 1.05, negative 0.92. So it's starting to get better, right? It's not as bad. Negative 0.83. They had bad earnings 3 quarters ago. Negative 1.09. Even worse earnings. The second to last earnings we had negative 2.4. Saw the stock go from like 9 down to like 6 to 5 area. And now we're at negative 7.2. So could it get back above 10? Sure. I think that it's probably unrealistic for this to get back up into the 40s or 50s. Unless they do something astronomical to turn this stock around, which I just don't see happening. Just because within that space, right, the plant-based meat, there's just really not a lot of wiggle room, I don't know what kind of products or services even that they could offer that would turn this around. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to be the Debbie Downer on that one for you. But yeah, you learned your. I've done this before too. I bought a company, like it was my first couple months trading ever, and I still remember it was one of my first trades. And I forgot the ticker, but I bought it because it had pending FDA approval for the first peanut allergy drug ever. And I had no market sense. I had no psychological principles or rules or experience or anything, and ran up. I was probably up 50%. I didn't really think that was that crazy just because I didn't have a lot of money at the time. So the dollar amount didn't look that big. And now I think it's not even a public stock anymore. So it's gone. And I bag held it, I just saw them in A&W around here. Might be a bigger market in the US. Yeah, could be. Again, I can only look at this from a chart perspective right now. I haven't researched or looked into anything fundamental or news wise on BYND at all. So there could be other things that I'm missing. Are you able to gift stocks to people anymore? I don't know that I've never gifted a stock, Farouk. When did that happen? Yeah, they do keep expanding in the fast food chains, of course. I mean, I think the vegan option is probably something that every fast food chain wants. Could that be good? Yeah. I mean, could they get a really big deal with some sort of grocer or food chain that they're not in yet, like McDonald's or something? Maybe. And maybe that's something that turns this around. Again, I'm just looking at this from a chart perspective only. Um, and that's, kind of all I can give. Also, Rum maybe, as few people are moving over from YouTube, but Rum still seems a bit rocky. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are have been moving from. Oh yeah, Roku. I'll get into that. Rumble. Yeah, I do think people are moving around. I mean, this only IPO'd in June of 23, so 1 year ago tomorrow, Rumble IPO'd. As per usual, we're under IPO price right now. I think that Rumble does have a future, especially if YouTube continues to censor as hard as it does. But again, it's just like I'm good at very few things in the stock market, and I only do those things. Does this even remotely look like a trade I would take? No. But being at the trading floor that I'm at, I am then, you guys know that I only look at a very few number of stocks, and I'm very good at trading those few number of stocks. So I don't really go outside. I don't really go outside that watch list. However, being there, I am exposed to a lot of other names. Like, would you guys think that I would even know FSLR or Burke or Pens or anything like that? No, that wouldn't even be on my radar. But this is why I do it, and believe me, it's an absolute grind. I drive 2.5 hours every single day, and I sit at a computer for 10 hours. So it is a lot, but I do it for this reason: is because I am exposed to other ideas and trades and tickers and thoughts and ideas and all that information, just everything. So I do it for the benefit of all of us. Amazon is doing good now. Yeah, Amazon's going up there. Then I'm going to get into Roku. But yeah, Amazon could be another breakout. This looks very similar to Apple, guys. We got a top here, 190, top here, 190, 170, up through 190. Again, this probably has room for 200 very easily. So we need to keep this on watch as well. This 190 level is going to be important. Let me make sure I have my alerts set up here. Tomorrow, I didn't expect anything to happen today. We have CPI and Fed meetings tomorrow. That typically doesn't happen on the same day, and it is. And that's kind of where the market wants to catch you off guard. And Apple runs probably the biggest move I've ever seen, and I think a lot of people have ever seen in the office today, which is insane. Okay, yeah, so Roku. Let's get into it. So Roku, this was something that boss talked with a lot of us interns about. Roku, I used to trade it a lot. And you could see where I traded it a lot. Where do you think I traded it a lot? In here. When it was hot, when it was running. Look at this, another breakout setup here. Look at this. Breaks through, bases out, buy this on all-time highs. This goes from 160, call it even 150, being generous here, up to 500. You know what I mean? So that principle, it's something that I really haven't opened my eyes to now, and it makes so much sense now. Stocks at all-time highs for a reason. Stocks at all-time lows for a reason. Yes, could you make money buying something at all-time lows? Sure. Do you know when? You don't know when. Could you buy something at all-time highs because it's at all-time highs for a reason? News, earnings, AI, cutting-edge technology, whatever it is. To me, that's a much easier, safer, more obvious trade. Anyways, so Roku. We'll also talk about back in 2019. This is, around where I started. And Roku wasn't making a whole lot of money, right? They're not like high-end TVs. I'm sure everyone in here probably has a Roku TV with that little black remote with the purple buttons. Roku wasn't making a ton of money. Yeah, their TVs were selling. Yeah, I mean, they were making money, but was their stock valued at the right price? No. So a lot of people were, he was talking about, I know guys that were shorting Roku thinking it was going to go down to, 50 to 20, even like $10 a share when it was at, 175, 200. Well, I can't be wrong because, the fundamentals make sense. Oh, here we are at 250. Here we are at 275, 300, 325, 350. Short some more. Oh man, this is crazy. Short squeeze. We're at 400, 450. Okay, I gotta cover this. I gotta get out. I just lost millions of dollars. And then here comes Roku. So that's it just goes back into what I was telling you guys about. The most important thing that in trading is that you don't know anything at all. And if you live by that and you're never biased and you're never stubborn, you don't let your ego and emotions come into this, you're going to be good. And you just keep it simple. You have a strategy, you have a criteria, you have a plan, and you execute it. It's that simple. Let your winners run. Really catch those winners, those big winners. Know when the market is giving the best opportunities. Right now there's no better time to be making a ton of money, for at least my sake, simply because this is just what I trade. This is what I started trading. This is what I got really good at trading, and it's just breakout setups. That's what's working. So, anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like the real short on something like this is kind of down in here. You'll never be able to pick a top. The real short on this is kind of in this here. Once it's breaking, right? It's broken, it's failing, it's bleeding out, and then it just never stops. Farouk, that makes me happy. I hope you other guys feel the same way. I miss being on mic too. It's actually so boring, but I'll be back in no time, and I do it every summer because I gain so much knowledge, and then I can teach the way that I do because I learn from guys that have done it longer than I've been alive. Netflix flag. Let's see. I see what you're looking at here. I do. So to me, this could be another great breakout trade. It really could be. Do I know when it's going to happen? No. But once again, I should probably be writing these down for tomorrow. Let's see here. Let's make a new note. So we got Microsoft. We have Google. You guys should too. I'm writing these down right now. Microsoft, Google, Netflix, FSLR, Burke, and Pens. I think that's a lot that we covered right now. So these are all beautiful big time frame flag breakout pattern stocks. And I hope I'll flip through them again so you guys can see it. But look at this. This is going to look very similar to all these other ones, right? Really strong move, consolidation, kind of a flag pattern, looking for a breakout. What's one that just worked as of today? FSLR. Rip, consolidation, flag pattern, wait for some of that volume to come back in, and boom. Right? So this is one that's working. This is one that could continue up into, 300, 310, 320. So now let's look at Microsoft. This is even a bigger time frame, which offers a bigger move, right? Rip, consolidation, break through these highs. This is where you can see another run like this. Okay, kind of the same thing here, right? Rip, consolidation, flag, breakout, gone. This went from 370 really on a straight line to 400. So that's roughly a 10% move. A 10% move on this would be about $43. Call it $50. This would go from 430 to 480. All right. So then Google, same thing. A little bit smaller. Rip up. Kind of a flag pattern here. Looking for a breakout. Netflix, we just went over that. Pens. Rip. Flag pattern here is starting to break out. This one's kind of already moving as well. right? I think INSP was one. ISNP maybe. What was the ticket that guy traded? I don't know. I'm kind of blanking here on that. Burke, right? Kind of the same thing. Rip, somewhat of a flag, looking for a move higher. So, Michael on YouTube, thank you, man. Almost go to Apple Put. So glad I didn't. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't right here. I mean, can it short term come back down around 200, 202? Sure. What are the chances of that? I would love for that to happen, but this could keep going, man. This was an unbelievable day. I don't expect this again tomorrow, of course. If you didn't make money on it today, don't try to chase it tomorrow, but keep it on watch. NVIDIA, NVIDIA is just a really good example of that working on a really big time frame. This has just kind of done nothing. Could it break out again on a smaller time frame? This is, once again, I'm on a 1 hour chart here, not a weekly or a daily. Rip, kind of a flag breaking out here again, right? Above this level. Rip, reject, pull back, come back to it, consolidate a little bit, rip. Here we are again, consolidating again. So back above 122, then 123. This will put us up near all-time highs again. That's where we could squeeze up to 130. Does all that make sense to everyone? Oh, hello, Mr. Michael Tippy. Yeah, I'm in live time. I think once I get my one-on-one, I'll be hitting you up. Cool, Nick. Just let me know. We can do a one-on-one meeting for sure. What did you say about NVIDIA? I just think that this could probably move higher. Do I know when? No. Could it completely sell off because it hasn't been trading very well? Sure. It's just been really choppy the last 2-3 days since the split. But it's just kind of the same principle that I'm looking for, Farouk. Nice run, kind of consolidate, chop around, coil up, as you guys have heard me say before. And then I think this could see 130, or we could easily drop back down into 115, 110, even go back down for 100 if we really wanted to. But same principle here. Rip, reject this level, pull back, kind of reject again, and then boom, we just break. That is where I am very good at breakouts. I don't like trading ranges. I don't like trading bounce plays. I don't like trading supply and demand. I don't like trading Fibonacci. I don't like trading spreads. There's a lot of things that I don't like, and I haven't tried all of them thoroughly, but with the way that my mind works, with the way that I have wanted to and have liked to trade, is breakouts. Easy to spot. Big risk to reward. To me, it all just makes sense. It's just how I do it. Yeah, Nick, you're definitely 100% right. 100% right. Farouk, you missed it again? You need me to go over NVIDIA again? Yes or no? Oh, okay. Cool. Well, guys, I got about 5 minutes left. Again, Microsoft main watch tomorrow, most likely. Meta, probably not Meta. I mean, I caught a couple trades on that. I actually caught that this morning, pretty nice. But here we go again. I mean, this is a breakout market. I love it. Rip. We hit 500, rejected. 500 again, rejected. We made a high at 502 here. hit 500 again, broke through, closed really strong yesterday. We have a 502, 503 kind of high here. What was I looking for today? This is my only trade. Opened up above 500. What does that mean? I'm looking for a pullback down into 500. And, if I'm above a resistance line, I want to pull back into it because it's then going to act as support. See buyers hold that there. Look for a new high. Because I know that if it comes down to that support and I buy there small and then it breaks under, I'm wrong and I'm out with small size. So, and you also know I'm not going to chase a green candle off the open if I want this to go up. I don't care if this went up $50. I wouldn't chase it. Pushed up, didn't chase it, started pulling back in. Nice. So I'm buying small. Boom. Volume starts kicking in here. Boom, boom. Add. Look for a break of the high. Boom. Sell half. Sell, my half of that half. Sell 90% of my position. See if it'll run. I wanted this to kind of go for 505. Rolled over. Sold my last little bit. Whatever. Came back up. Doesn't matter. I would have gotten stopped out here regardless if I had my whole position on. That was it. That's where I made all of my money today. And that took 5, 6, 7 minutes. That was it. So that is where that's kind of where I make the bread and butter. Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, yeah, Nick. So Microsoft top watch, going to be watching Apple again for sure. FSLR again for sure. Going to be watching Google. And then like Pens, BIRK. And I think COHR was another one. I'll put a list out in the morning for all these kind of flag break setups. What time for the live feed? So I believe someone is live trading at Market Open. I am not going to be able to live trade for another 4 weeks, I believe, because I'm interning at a trading floor that I've interned at a lot. And for you guys on Discord, I'm talking to someone on YouTube. But yeah, so I'm working right now for a trading firm, so I am unable to live trade. But I still do my lessons, and after I'm done with this, it's back to live trading 3 days a week for the Market Open. I'm excited to get back to that. Believe me, I love live trading for just 1 hour a day and being able to do whatever I want. Because right now, I sit in an office for a long time. So, how do you get hollow candles and what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just the algo that I have on here, Farouk. Hollow candles. So for my algo specifically, hollow candles are green candles and solid candles are red candles. However, you see a solid candle right here that's colored green. That's because it hasn't flipped this trend that I have, this little line. I don't know if you can see it. But there's a little line here. When it flips, these candles are all green because this is in a green uptrend, but there's going to be red candles in an uptrend. Do I trade off of this algo? No. If I'm going to be completely honest, I just like the way that the colors look, a little bit easier on my eyes. I like how some green candles are red and some red candles are green. I just think it's a little bit more smooth and clean, and that's why I have it. Other than that, you could come to the trading firm I'm at, and everyone will tell you that price action and volume is all you need. Nobody has RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands, blah, 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 blah. No one uses that stuff. There are very few that do have that stuff on there, but are they trading directly off of, the indicators? No. Moving averages and stuff, sure, they use that more so for bigger time frames. They're not going to be taking a trade if the 9 EMA crosses over the 12 EMA or whatever it is. Understanding price action from a fundamental standpoint, from a buying and selling standpoint, and then adding just volume into that is all you need. I can promise you. Once you can understand that on a fundamental basic level, because that's the bare bones of the stock market, of trading, you will then be successful. I can promise you. Of course. Watch YouTube video on candles and the guide changed all the candles to the same color. It was really helpful and forced you to watch price action. Yeah, you could do that. I know some people that would agree that red and green candles are too attached to your emotions. A lot of people want to buy a stock and see it go to the moon, and they want to see green candles. Then they see a red candle and they're emotionally attached to that. And then they don't trade well because they're seeing red, and red is fear, right? Like poisonous frogs and what all that kind of stuff. They have those bright like red colors to scare things off, and that is something that could trigger your mind. I've never changed my candle colors. I'm past the point where colors affect my emotions and trading, but you can do that. I know people that do like black and white or white and blue or one solid color. Some of the biggest traders there, guys, they don't even use candles. Well, one guy there that I know of for sure, who is a massive trader, doesn't use candlesticks. He's still a day trader and short-term swing trader, but it's all logic. It's all psychology based. He's buying support levels, or buying breakouts or whatever it is. It's all psychological based. It's not necessarily, he's not going to buy a wedge, pattern. He's not looking for something like that. He's looking for fundamental news like earnings or like Apple today or Nvidia or stuff like that. And he's trading it. So don't think that you need to be able to know every single candle movement and because there's a million names for all different candlesticks, and this one has a wick that's 2 times as big as the body, and this is called blah blah blah. At the next level, guys don't talk like that. Guys don't think about that. They would laugh at you if you're going to put money on the line for reasons like that. It's logic, it's buying and selling, it's prices, it's just psychological rules. That's about it. So it's a good point though, Vance. I really love your hard work. I really appreciate that. So keep it up. You're doing so well. You guys should learn from Vance. She does her homework. She sends me notes. She watches the YouTube videos. If you guys don't put in time outside of lessons and stuff like that, it's just going to take that much longer for you to get to that next level. You'll start, and writing things down is one of the biggest things. The biggest things. Everyone in the office has to write everything down and talk about it. Talk about the process. Talk about the trades, bounce ideas off each other. Work together as a team, especially you guys in the day trader corner. Talk. Talk through trades together. I've seen y'all do it. It's great. You just like Farouk said, he's learned from Vans. He learned from TK. I'm sure they've learned from Farouk. It's just whether it's watching people's failures or successes, you're going to learn from it. Yeah. Farouk, and that's why you're getting better and better every single day. So, well, guys, we're kind of past that hour mark here. So, any last minute questions for me before I head out? I miss you guys. I love being back here and talking to y'all. I miss this part of my life because my goodness, I don't know about y'all, but staring at stocks all day is it's brutal. Not to mention getting to the desk 2 hours before the open after driving an hour. It's a lot, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. So it's a reason I hope I teach well, but I wouldn't be able to teach the way that I do if I didn't know this stuff. Yeah, that's literally me in the morning driving in the dark, Jag. Thank you, Vans. Well, guys, any other questions or you want to wrap things up? I am beat. Thank you, TK. Thank you, Sick Man. Yeah, man, I miss it. I'm ready to get back to live trading. Get to work, Farouk. I love it. Do that homework, guys. Write down everything. Keep journals, extensive journals. All right, guys. Good night. See you in the morning. Later.